to do a really mad analysis for you today. So let's just look at this from here. This is from Friday. Uh, Today is Monday. The what? Today is Monday, the 6th of May, 2024. Well, let's go from Friday because it's something I noticed, right? So Friday we had the NFP news, right? And the NFP news was so good. All the figures were good, which was against the dollar, right? But what happened? We saw a move from this point, just a 60 pip move that failed to break this downtrend line. Right, you can see this downtrend line has gone one, first touch, second touch, third touch, fourth touch, fifth touch. That's one. And the news was so good, yet it just picked liquidity here and closed here. That's number one. So it failed to break the downtrend line. And let's look. So that and this was an NFP news. I just want to just bring out something here. You also observe, if you recall, the last NFP news too last month was against was 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 also against the dollar. Yet price failed to do what was it? Let's take a look at it. Uh, that would be 5th April. Yes, 5th April. You see the NFP news here. It was good for the dollar. It was good for the dollar. Employment dropped. Employment rate dropped. Which hourly earnings was as forecasted. So this was good for the dollar, which meant price was meant to fall. Which meant price was meant to fall. But what happened? This is 50. What happened? Price just strong enough. It didn't even make any move. It just did a few up and down movements, peak liquidity here and there. And the following day, it went back. The following Monday, it touched this trend line, rejected it beautifully, and made a move down. So it was CPI that later brought dollar down. What am I saying? The news was good on Friday for the dollar, but the fall did not start happening on that Friday. It had to wait till Monday, to around Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, to around Wednesday for CPI news before it actually started falling down. So what I'm trying to say is that the news also supports structure. Now, this bad or this negative dollar news is meant to boost the euro. It's meant to make this meant to boost the euro, which means it's meant to go up, break this trend line, and confirm that we are now in a bullish trend overall on a bigger time frame. But it failed to break it; it rejected it. So let's just take note of that, and that this failing to give a good uptrend or failing to boost the euro, while it was a good news that really favored us far way below what we expected. Let's look at the news. You see red, red, red. Average, it went down from what they forecasted. This one was far below what they forecasted. Unemployment rate was increased, which means the dollar is weak. And the dollar being weak, euro is meant to make some strong moves up the way this happened. But it just did about a 60 pip move, something pip move, and slowed down. So what does this mean? Let's do our analysis for. I think we'll do for the week and for the day. We'll just do a shot for the day. All right. So um, let's know how we normally do this. On the monthly, we are still right. This is the last swing up, swing high. This is the last swing low. We've not broken either of them. We're somewhere in the middle, right? So we can't really tell whether the monthly is in a downtrend or uptrend, but we can take note of these last swings. And we move up. Another thing I take note is the previous candlesticks, right? Previous candlesticks. We had a kind of a rejection here, It had a strong bearish candle last month, but just in the first few days of May, as the first 3 days of May. So what I'm looking at is this is just the week for the month. Price is going to go down and come somewhere here. But what do I know? Now let's go to the weekly. In the weekly, we can see that we are still in a downtrend. The price is not doing so much. Price is not doing so much. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start identifying our zones from here. Here this is the last swing on the weekly. This is the last swing on the weekly. There isn't so much, so I'm not going to do a color coding or something. I'll do that on our fib levels. So we see we are in a downtrend in the weekly. Remember, the last news was supposed to favor euro and against dollar. So if you had gone by the last NFP news yesterday, that's on Friday, which it would mean that we are expecting strong moves up, but that is highly unlikely. Now, why is that so? Can we use this yet? Nope, not yet. Still yet to break down. So now let's do a fib on this last swing, weekly swing. This is our fib. Ooh, we haven't even gotten to it. Beautiful. So we're looking to get here. We've touched the equilibrium, right? We're looking to get there. This is where we're looking to get. So let's identify it. This is a 61.8 weekly, right? So let's also take note of this weekly trend line. This is a weekly trend line, right? So the two things we observe, if we're going by this weekly, which is usually has a higher precedence over the lower time frames, we will expect price to get here the following week, at least pick liquidity from this 61.8 zone and keep going down, right? So this is what we're expecting. This is the swing. We're expecting the swing to continue like this. This is a very don't know how long this is going to play. So I always say that in my previous videos. So this is what we're expecting, but so far it's still a long move. It's going to take a lot to build up to this point. And we're talking about something piece. Might do it in a day. We're talking about a week, right? Might do a lot of ranging sideways movement before it finally does that. So we don't know how that's going to play, but this is what we're expecting price to still go up on the weekly before it starts coming down. But notwithstanding, if we've gotten to equilibrium, I mean equilibrium price, discount price, there's the probability of it coming down, probability of it going up is still on the if we're somewhere here where price has not gotten to equilibrium, we know that yes, price must get to equilibrium, right? So we'll be looking at bullish moves. But now that price has gotten to equilibrium, it didn't close above it, but it got to it and closed below it. We're still looking at the probability of it going higher is now reduced. Being bullish is now reduced. What can we see? So let's go down to the weekly. We are supposed to label this. So let's do this. Let's do a text here. I'm going to call it weekly fib. Right. Now, if you look at this, we are on the daily time frame. If you look at this trend line closely, let's adjust this. This is one trend line. This is looking beautiful. Now, we're on the daily, so we're going to identify the last daily swings, right? Which is this, right? And the last one is still this guy. Now, this is why I said so. Is that this we're taking this as one continuous move because we can't see any clear sign of pullback or any can't see any clear pullback. It's just a bunch of candles, buy sell, bullish bearish, bullish bearish, bullish bearish. So when we're talking about the pullback or a retracement, it has to be a series of similar candles. If it's a pullback so on this move up, looking at maybe two consecutive bearish candles where they would take off, they will constantly take down, take away, take take out the low of the previous one, take a low of the previous one. That's why you consider a pullback, a correct pullback. But so far, we're going to consider this as a single bullish move on the daily. Maybe in the 4 hour you can see some pullbacks, but for this daily, we're going to consider this as a single move up without any pullback, right? So we're going to adjust this to the last daily swing, which is this guy, right? And you will see that the daily fib has been what has been picked. Daily fib has been picked. So we're going to label this one too. When I say the daily fib, I mean it's 61.8. We have something about 7.6, but that's deep retracement. But let's just leave this here, and we have to label it too. I'm gonna call this the daily fib, right? So we're gonna call this guy the daily fib. Now let's observe price movements on the daily, right? So for the daily, remember we said we don't have any pullback yet, right? All we just have is a cluster of candlesticks on the daily. Now, two things to note: we still have another trend line here that is still valid. So that was actually respected, right? So this is what we have. We have the weekly trend line, we have the daily trend line, we have the weekly fib, we have the daily fib. What does this mean? This means that we are in an area where price would seem to go up. In fact, price would. This is what I mean. I mean, this is a zone that we can expect a lot of sideways movements, just like this. Either we'll have a sideways movement or we'll have an what? Instant movement. What do I mean by instant move? You have a strong move up, followed by a strong move down. Right? In and quickly, a sharp move in and out of this zone, because this zone is. I feel there's a lot of liquidity. You can see this first one. There's a lot of liquidity to grab here. Why? Because first we have the daily 61.8. We have the daily trend line. Now, aside that, even if we break this one, we have the weekly 61.8 and we have the weekly trend line. So like there's a lot of orders that are waiting to actually pick this move. Remember this move we said we have to go down. There are a lot of orders that would be pending at different levels. So you might experience a lot of liquidity grab, like strong moves up and without any proper structure to it, just like this. So that being said, right? That being said, what are we expecting next week? What we're expecting next week is still what I envisioned, right? The only thing is that it might get up to this point. This is what I mean. So we either expect what another test, another move up here to grab liquidity before it tries to complete its before it tries to do its move down, right? Are they expecting this? Talking about the for this week. Are they expecting this? Hmm. Or it might not do the that's a lot of pips to cover. We might break this one briefly, test it, and go for this. I mean, this is the closest that's been to it, and go for this guy. This is the closest price has been to the weekly can. I think this is going to make it a third touch, so we're not sure. We're not sure. Uh, let's look at this. So for the day, this is the first touch. This is the second touch. This could have gone on to be the third touch, but the price was not. It was already at its 61.8 fib level for this move. I think we're drawing a lot of lines. So let's delete this. So if you notice, it never closed above this. It's let's adjust this properly. If you notice, it never closed above it, and it never got to it. But price actually came above it. It didn't close above it. That's why I said it's going to be a quick one in and out. If you remember, as I said, it's going to be a quick one in and out. As price might do the same thing again, because now it didn't close above it, so it might just do a quick one into this and what and get out of it. It may not close above it. So that being said, we still expect price to do what? To get to this 78.6 deep retracement because we have what liquidity at it's going to be aiming for liquidity at this weekly trend because since it has grabbed this one at the daily already, we can see this strong week. If it moves up, we're still looking at it going to grab liquidity here. So far, next week we're still looking bullish. Hopefully, because there's no major news next week, and there's nothing to stimulate the move. So what we'll be looking at is there's no major news next week. Everything is just there's no major news next week on the dollar. I mean, there's no major news on the dollar. We only have there's no major news on the dollar. So we might just look at that playing out, the bullish move continuing a bit, a weak movement, which means next week we'll have a oh shit, this is clustered. Which means next week we'll have another bullish move. Then the third week, the week after that, we'll have a bearish move based on CPI, expecting on CPI. So that being said, what are we expecting? We haven't done this. This is becoming very long. We haven't done anything for. I haven't done anything for Monday. So let's do something for Monday. So let's just get this right. For the week, we're looking at a break. We're looking at what's going on now. Looking at the retest. I'm looking at liquidity grab to this point. That's for next week. While for Monday, this is tricky. We have this. Monday we'll have this level, right? So much. The price should react to, and this is all. It's not like the middle of nowhere. And not to forget, we'll have this fib level too. Right. So that's the four levels we're expecting price to react to. which means we will be looking at a move down, another one up. This is really chill. Well, we'll be looking at a move down, but overall, I don't think it's going to just do this trade. But this is what we're looking at anyway. This is what we're looking at. Don't know how much of it. No, I did that so that it would kind of respect this guy. This 4 hour trend line. It might go deeper here. Overall, this is what we are expecting. If I'm not mistaken, let me just mirror this move, right? This 4 hour swing. Let's just say this is what we're expecting. So I'm expecting this to fall back here, right? Something of this sort. So I think to be safe to adjust this guy somewhere here. Alright,